old heart impact, past painful scars. In fact, I blast tasteful bars and pass. I back up my actions, fact, don't ask, grab reactions, jacked, attack with every word, then act with class as they hear me snap. I got nothing to lose, cause I fought and felt the bruise. Now I'm not the one confused, call the shots and they produce. I ain't lost, I'm finally loose, pick a new silver excuse. I need the views to boost me to a new abuse of being used. Everybody wants a piece now, y'all can rest in peace now. You're dead to me, so peace out. Remember, you're discreet out. Get ready for defeat now.
Alrighty. Hello everybody. I just got done recording the reincarnation of Dio. And I know a lot of people, they are expecting this series a long time ago. I've done series like this where in Titanfall Deku, he was in a suit of armor. If you do want to put it in that way, or a pilot's cockpit. And another series where I do include Meihatsume, I do include the tech portion of that. Or even in the Venom series, where I did do cameos or at least characters that do use versions of Iron Man armor. Now, I won't lie. This is a series I really want to do a take on, and there are multiple ones like that I would love to do a version of. In fact, I actually am in the process of making a thumbnail for another Avenger that I will preview later. Now, for right now, let's get into this one shot. What if Deku was Iron Man? We'll start out by explaining Izuku Midoriya. In this timeline, he was born quirkless, and this did somewhat take a toll on him. Shortly afterwards, he kind of didn't really know what to do. While school and everything was easy and simple, you did actually have where Hisashi and Inko, because of what's going on with their son currently and what's happening with him, they didn't really know what to say or do. Deku, he was being bullied and made fun of. Meanwhile, Inko and Hisashi, there was what was going on with them. They spent so much time apart. And because of that, their marriage was starting to have a bit of a strain put on it. And there's the fact that Inko does actually have to take time to try and help Deku. But he just seems to be getting worse and worse. And from what she can tell, he just, well, he's shattered. Now, Hisashi, he couldn't really find the time to come back home to see Inko. So what he did was the next best thing. He already does have a bit more of an apartment here in America. Since it's actually cheaper for him to do that than to just rent a room and pay every single week this very high price. Now, what he did was he invited Inko to come stay over there in America with him. And Deku can come too. And this was actually quite a surprise. Deku and Inko, they actually traveled to America, where Deku got to see his father once again. And after at least seeing how crazy and strange things are here in America, Deku actually started to take a liking to it. He started being around his father more and interacting with him, and his dad did try to give him some wise words and some encouraging words. As whenever this was happening, a villain attack happened. All these three were out sitting and having lunch somewhere. And whenever the villain attack got, well, a bit out of hand, heroes started coming in. And Deku, he saw multiple. As you do actually have where a villain, after at least going to fling a hero out of the way, he does pick up a large piece of rubble. Him actually going to toss it at the hero, as the hero does go to bring up their hands and smash the piece apart. As a large chunk of debris does go flying in Deku's direction. And the moment this did actually happen, Deku did just go to look up, trying to bring his hands up to hopefully use a quirk he knows he might not have. However, he was also scared and just sitting there in fear, as a rocket comes out of nowhere, blasting into the rubble and blowing it apart. As you did have for Deku, he was very surprised, him being flung backwards on his back. Him then turning his head to see Iron Man. However, Deku, he didn't know who this man was. He just saw him holding his fist and arm outwards, as he did then look over to Hisashi and Inko, the two running over to grab Deku. as he does ask if they're alright. To which Asashi does thank the hero before they do go running off. And Deku does watch that guy fly away, him blasting off into the air to take on the villain. As Deku tried asking his dad who that was, to which he informed him that that was Iron Man, and that he's actually the leader of an Avengers team, or a hero agency called the Avengers. Now, it was very surprising. Deku learned that Iron Man, he's a part of a team called the Avengers, which, while they are very strong, they are actually up there with the name of hero agencies. In America, they're within the top 5 agencies. Meanwhile, for hero rankings, Iron Man, he's actually just below this guy called Captain America. And Asashi does see the next part that does actually catch Deku's interest. Iron Man is quirkless. But Deku asks how that's possible. His father explaining the suit and everything it can do, from blasting strange beams of power to flying, and even being capable of not only breaking the sound barrier and all this other crazy stuff. Now, Deku learns that this is all because of technology, and he does find it to be quite fascinating, as he does start to look up towards Iron Man. After everything is said and done, you do have where he does walk back over and see Deku. Him actually going to continue the conversation he was having, asking if any of them are hurt or do need to go to the hospital. To which they all do talk about how they're all going to be fine. Deku actually running up and looking right up at the tall hero. The man actually having his suit move downwards as Deku does hear the strange sound it does make. Mr. Iron Man, is it true you're quirkless? The visor of the suit actually popping off, as he does bend down. Yeah, it is. Really? Would I be able to be a hero too? Maybe, kid. But you're gonna have to work pretty hard for it. Tell you what. You work hard enough for it, I'll be able to find you. If I ever hear your name out there, if I ever see someone who looks just like you and they're working hard towards being a hero, I might give you a phone call one day. Now, Iron Man does quickly fly away. As Deku, he looks at that. The strange thing he just did. And from right then and there, Deku just started to try to be a hero. His entire perspective changed. His entire love and just admiration towards All Might, it's still there. But then there's actually a hero he can more or less relate to. Iron Man. He's just a very smart guy in a very high-tech suit. And Deku, while he doesn't have a lot of money, he does at least have a natural brain, or a natural intellect, which he does start to use. And we do actually have a few years that do go by. In Ko and Sasha, they actually do find that over here in America, it's a lot better. These two have more time to spend with one another. Hisashi can be around his son more, and he can actually spend more time with his family. He doesn't just have to come home to a quiet, empty apartment. It's not dull or gray, it's full of color. And this is actually where Inko, she does do one simple thing. She does go back to Japan for a short time. And they do go through the process of not only moving some stuff over to America, but selling off the rest of it and just moving out of the apartment. And Deku, he does get enrolled into a school in America where he does learn English. As we'll cut up to Deku being around the age of 17. Or more or less around the age towards college. Deku's put in some work. Not only that, but he's found that he has a natural knack for engineering. He likes making the pieces fit like they're pieces of a puzzle. And you do actually have where he is testing an invention. Right now, he's trying to not only learn more from Iron Man, he's tried looking over some schematics he could build. Or simply just make. It all seemed to be very strange to him. But he did get the process down. he's been able to make a glove. It's similar to a repulsor in the fact that it does fire beams. But for right now, the best it's used for is melting cans. Since the amount of power he can put into it, yeah. Right now he can basically only plug it into a wall and hold a few thousand volts. But it is progress. But he's trying to keep up with Tony Stark. The man has billions of dollars in funding. Meanwhile, Deku, he has chump change compared to it. The fact that he even was able to make this is remarkable. But even then, after a few shots, it does burn out. As we will cut to him on the way home. He is trying to think. He has the idea in his head. Okay, just move these pieces around and just do this. Okay, but what about this? No, wait, that piece doesn't fit. Yeah. As Deku is thinking, you do actually have where a large explosion does go off. Deku turning his head as he does see a flaming piece of debris coming his direction. And it's very strange. Okay, that piece of debris should fall. But wait, it's coming closer. It's virtually coming right at him. I'm actually going to throw his thumb out of the way as this piece of flaming debris does smash in the ground and continue moving on, skidding along before smashing into a wall. Deku actually going to turn his head and look towards that direction, as he does see Iron Man, him running over, as he does look down at the suit. No way. Hang on. Hello? What's going on? No. Deku is looking over the suit. It's very heavily damaged. He can tell from the well-left repulsor it's damaged too. It's not lit up and glowing. And there's the arc reactor in his chest. It's turned off. It's flickering, yeah, but there's something sticking out of it. Deku looking down to try and grab it. But he can tell at the moment that he does feel a shock that he can't do that. Him actually going to reach into his backpack, and he does try to get to work quickly. Him actually being able to undo a few things to the Iron Man mask, as he does pull off a faceplate and see Tony Stark's face. Mr. Stark. What's going on? I can't move. I don't exactly know. Are you alright? Well, aside from the shrapnel in my chest, I'm not too sure. Mr. Stark, your arc reactor, it's not turned on. Is that bad? Pretty bad, yeah. So, how'd you get the plate off? Deku trying to explain. As Deku and Tony Stark do start talking, and Tony, he quickly does realize a few things. Upon thinking about it along with certain estimates, if his arc reactor isn't turned on, if he's not brought back to Avengers Tower within the span of 15 to 20 minutes, or he's not brought to a hospital, he's going to die. It doesn't matter what he tries to do. At a hospital, they'd have to use blowtorches and other things to try and get him out of the suit. But even then, he'd die before then. But at Stark Tower, there's at least a chance he can survive. Him actually turning to Deku, as he does ask him to dial a phone number for him, and Deku does comply, as Tony does start to walk him through the process as to what to do. As soon as he does talk about Deku basically peeling him out of the Iron Man armor, Deku does start to get to work. Him actually trying to follow Tony's instructions, as Tony does see that he's actually going faster than he thought. As whenever he does try to instruct him to go to one place, Deku's already at another. And it does seem kind of strange to him, as he does finally get at least one of his arms free, along with even the top part of his chest. His legs are still encased, and it's basically like he's in concrete. As, well, Deku, he's actually busy trying to work on getting Tony's legs out. Tony, he's just sitting up, trying to make himself a bit more comfortable. He can already feel the shrapnel getting into his heart. And right now, it's not too good. While Deku is distracted, Tony, he does look at the intensity on his face. And he does get to bring up a watch in his hand and start to at least go to do a few things. As whenever Deku does actually get Tony's legs free, a vehicle does finally pull up. As Tony, he does leave. And you do actually have Deku. Deku, he tried to ask Tony Stark what he should do with the Iron Man armor. And Stark did basically just inform him that a new arc reactor is on its way. And that, well, Jarvis, he'll know what to do with it afterwards. However, him actually going to toss him something. Deku, reaching out his hands, it is catch a watch. Now, Iron Man is rushed away. Him getting back to Avengers Tower as Deku, he does sort of just go home. He tries to think. He just met Iron Man. And Iron Man gave him a watch? That is cool. Okay, but this just looks like an ordinary watch. It's got a square screen. It does seem more like a phone, but other than that, what's going on? Now, we do have at Stark Tower, where one thing does happen. Tony Stark, while he's being operated on, he does succumb to his injuries. Him passing away as an automated system within Jarvis that was installed recently does activate. Now, this is where things, they do take a turn, as we'll cut over to Izuku Midoriya. Currently, he's still thinking about what happened earlier. He got to meet Tony Stark again. And as he is actually going over certain designs and sketches he's going over of the Iron Man armor, he does try to think. The insight to that tech, looking at it directly and getting a hand's-eye view on it, getting a feel for it, this just increased his understanding of how to make something. It's, well, the designs Mr. Stark had, everything, it was superior to his own. It makes him feel inadequate, but at the same time, this shows him what he needs to change and improve. He can take certain designs he saw and implement them into his own. Now, as he is going over that, he does actually got to bring up his hand, trying to think about it. As you do actually have with a watch that's sitting on Deku's desk that's going to beep. Him turning his head to look at it. It's right next to a glass of water he does have. Him actually going to reach out his hand and go to pick it up. As he does start to hear a voice as a hologram does pop up. Deku actually dropping the watch as the voice does start talking. The watch landing on his notebook as Deku does look down after backing up. Hello? Hello? My name is Jarvis. Jarvis. Yes. It has come to my attention, because of Mr. Stark, that he has great ideas for you. I'm sorry? Yes. Well, I am rather regretful to inform you that Mr. Stark has passed away. What? Iron Man's dead? Yes. It is very sad news. In fact, I myself am still trying to process it. However, Mr. Stark, he left me with an objective. Before passing away, of course. He saw great potential and prowess in you, Izuku Midoriya. How do you know my name? Because Mr. Stark has given me certain information, and he would like me to pass on certain information to you as well. This being where the hologram does change to a bit of a map of the city, as it does zoom into an area and then a dot does pop up, informing Izuku to head here, and that he will find everything that could help to explain it. Now, Deku does go over to pick up the watch, putting it on and asking Jarvis exactly what's going on here. Young man, Mr. Stark believes Iron Man, he should continue on. where Mr. Stark may have tragically died. He believes that you could take over. He himself thought that he would retire one day, and while he was creating me, as sort of a replacement, he feels it would be better to have somebody in the suit, have a human element to Iron Man, and that is exactly why he's entrusting this to you. To me? Why? Because you and him do share similarities. You two did talk today, didn't you? Yes, but what you're asking me for is crazy. Is it, young man? From what my understanding is, on your speech patterns and even the vocalizations in your voice, your heart rate does get faster. You get more excited talking about Iron Man. What if I were to inform you that you can take over as Iron Man? Take over? Wait, hang on. So, you... I just don't know how to... Young man, please follow the directions given listed on the GPS. Further explanation will be given. Now, Deku, he does pick up the watch. Him walking out of the apartment is his inform his mom that he's going to go out for a minute. And right now, he does book it, heading to the location as fast as possible, as he does come to find a Stark warehouse, him being very confused. As whenever he does go inside, and Jarvis does unlock certain things for him, he does find a keypad. Right now, he's standing outside of a shipping container, and there's a keypad here. He's not too sure what this is supposed to be, but he does input the number Jarvis has give him, and it does open up. As whenever it does, he does find a staircase leading down. Him walking inside is just see a lab. And even then, there's pieces of Iron Man armor everywhere. There's an arm there, there's a mask, there's a helmet there, and there's... Wait a minute, is that... No way, it couldn't be. Deku running over to a table as he's going to bring his hand out and waving it in front of it. As the moment he does, a video actually just pop up. Deku looking at it, and he does go to bring his hand up and press play. As Deku, he does hear an audio recording. Hello. Is that... Yes, that would be Mr. Stark. Now please, listen. Hello, young man. Well, I'm on my way out. Me and you had a bit of a moment earlier. I saw a lot of myself when talking to you. In fact, it was very much nostalgic for me. Somewhat enlightening, too. But, I don't know if you really want to hear that. Then again, I'm not too sure exactly, but... Hell, let me just come out and straight up say it. I'm a man of science. I'm not really a man of faith. I put faith in technology, things I create, and things I can do. But you, I will put some faith in you, young man. We may have just met, but I can tell that you're extraordinary. I'm going to give you a chance. Everything down here, everything you see, everything you can find, do what you can with it. I myself found that I'm going to die. But hopefully, Iron Man can live. Hopefully, you can live up to my expectations. Big shoes to fill, I know, but hell, I know that you'll just do what I would do. Modify the shoes. Make them smaller or larger, hopefully. But for right now, please, A last request. Don't let Iron Man die with me. Now, Deku does hear that, and he actually does turn his head. He does hear something. He does turn his head to see that a large container did just open, and inside there's an Iron Man armor. Deku walking over it as he does hear Jarvis, instructing him that this model of armor is actually a precursor to what Iron Man was currently using. And while it is considered to be defunct and damaged, Tony wants to see if Deku can really step up. Not just be Iron Man in terms of out in the field, but along with engineering prowess. And Deku, he does think about it. As we do cut to a few days later. Right now it's been announced that Iron Man has passed away, and the world they are grieving. As we do have Deku, over the course of these last few days, he's been working and doing what he can. While Jarvis has been there to try and step in and at least help Deku with a little bit of things here and there, he was staying within Tony's parameters of help. And we do have currently today, Deku, he suits up in his first set of armor, as he is actually standing there. Everything, along with the sleek color, does actually start to go back into place. The plated metal slipping back onto the frame as Deku does feel the armor flex and move. As he does actually have the screen turn on. Okay. Let's see. Everything's in order. All the parameters are set. Jarvis, can you hear me? Yes, sir. Okay. This is different. Yes, I can see. Armor integrity at over 90%. Power is also stable. So, sir, would you like to suit down, sir? No, Jarvis. I actually want to try giving this a shot. Now, Jarvis is somewhat trying to inform Deku. Well, the suit's operations, they are all at least going above the test parameters that would be set. He does advise that Deku, he may still run into errors and bugs, along with even possible malfunctions. But Deku, he does try to talk to Jarvis, informing him that, while he is aware of that, he does want to fly. This has always been one of his dreams, and right now, he can't wait. As Deku, he does step back into that strange pod. As he does fire upwards into the air, Deku, he does feel it. This beating in his chest, the adrenaline in his mind. As whenever he does actually launch off, he does get ready. As he does fly out of the facility, and people, they actually do hear it, along with seeing it. As, while people on the ground, they're mourning a hero, a new one does fly overhead. And right now, many of them are skeptical. As, up in the air, people see it. Iron Man flies once again. Now, with that being said, I do hope you guys enjoyed. Have an amazing day. I'll catch you guys in the next one shot.